Malawi, land of the lake, home to the friendly people. This small nation, nestled in the heart of southeastern Africa, is a land of captivating beauty. Towering mountains pierce the sky. The great Rift Valley carves its way through the land, holding the shimmering waters of Lake Malawi. But Malawi's beauty runs deeper than its landscapes. It lies in the spirit of its people. They are known for their warmth and resilience. They have faced hardship and uncertainty, yet they hold on to hope. Malawi's story is a complex tapestry. It is woven from ancient traditions and the upheavals of history, from colonial struggles to the hard-won prize of independence. To understand Malawi, one must listen closely to the echoes of its past. Long before the arrival of Europeans, the land that is now Malawi buzzed with life. This region, rich in natural beauty and resources, was home to diverse communities who thrived in harmony with their environment. The lush landscapes, teeming with wildlife, provided sustenance and inspiration for the people who lived here. Villages dotted the countryside, each with its own unique customs and traditions, yet all sharing a deep connection to the land and its rhythms. Bantu migrations brought waves of people southward. These migrations were not just movements of people, but also of ideas, technologies, and ways of life. The Bantu-speaking peoples carried with them wealth of knowledge about agriculture, metallurgy, and social organization. As they moved, they interacted with and absorbed elements from the communities they encountered, creating a rich tapestry of cultures and languages. They carried with them their languages, their cultures, and their skills. These skills included intricate craftwork, storytelling, and music, which played a central role in their daily lives and spiritual practices. The exchange of cultural practices and innovations led to the development of vibrant communities that were both resilient and adaptable. Among them were the ancestors of the Chewa people. The Chewa, known for their rich cultural heritage, established themselves as a significant presence in the region. They brought with them a deep sense of identity and community, which was reflected in their social structures and cultural expressions. The Chewa became the dominant ethnic group in Malawi. They established powerful kingdoms that were centers of political and economic activity. These kingdoms were characterized by their sophisticated governance systems and their ability to maintain stability and prosperity over long periods. They were skilled farmers, fishermen, and traders. The Chewa people developed advanced agricultural techniques that allowed them to cultivate a variety of crops, ensuring food security for their communities. Fishing, particularly in the abundant waters of Lake Malawi, provided another crucial source of sustenance. Trade networks extended far beyond their immediate region, facilitating the exchange of goods and ideas. They developed intricate social structures and religious beliefs. These social structures were based on kinship and community, with a strong emphasis on collective responsibility and mutual support. Religious beliefs were deeply intertwined with their understanding of the natural world and their place within it, guiding their practices and rituals. At the heart of their culture was a deep reverence for their ancestors and the land. Ancestral worship was a central aspect of Chewa spirituality, with rituals and ceremonies designed to honor and communicate with the spirits of their forebears. This reverence extended to the land itself, which was seen as a living entity that sustained and nurtured the community. The Chewa people developed vibrant artistic traditions. These traditions included the creation of intricate masks and sculptures, which were used in various ceremonies and rituals. The arts were not just a form of expression, but also a means of preserving and transmitting cultural knowledge and values. Their masks and dances are renowned for their beauty and symbolism. Each mask and dance had specific meanings and purposes, often related to spiritual beliefs, social roles, and historical events. The performances were a way to connect with the past, celebrate the present, and inspire the future. The rhythmic beat of the drums echoed across the land, accompanying ceremonies and rituals that connected them to their past and the spirit world. Drumming was more than just music. It was a form of communication, a way to convey messages and emotions that words alone could not express. These traditions, passed down through generations, remain a vital part of Malawi's cultural identity today. The Chewa people continue to celebrate their heritage through festivals, education, and community activities, ensuring that the echoes of ancient drums will resonate for generations to come. The arrival of Europeans in the 19th century marked a significant turning point in the history of Malawi. These foreign adventurers, driven by a mix of curiosity, ambition, and a desire for wealth, began to explore the vast and uncharted territories of Africa. Their presence would forever alter the course of the continent's history, cast a long shadow over Malawi. The land, once home to thriving communities with rich cultures and traditions, began to feel the weight of foreign influence and control. The natural beauty of Malawi, with its rolling hills and shimmering lakes, stood in stark contrast to the growing tension and upheaval brought by the newcomers. The Portuguese, driven by dreams of gold and ivory, were the first to arrive. Their expeditions were marked by both discovery and exploitation as they sought to extract valuable resources from the land. The tales of their adventures and the riches they found spread quickly, drawing the attention of other European powers. They were followed by missionaries and explorers drawn by the allure of the unknown. These individuals came with a mix of intentions. Some sought to spread their religious beliefs, hoping to convert the local populations to Christianity. Others were driven by a thirst for knowledge, eager to map the uncharted territories and document the diverse cultures they encountered. One such explorer, David Livingstone, left an indelible mark on Malawi's history. His journeys through the region were filled with both triumphs and challenges. Livingstone's detailed accounts of his travels, including his descriptions of the majestic Lake Malawi, captivated the European imagination and sparked further interest in the area. Livingstone's tales of the Lake of Stars sparked European interest in the region. The lake, with its clear waters and abundant fish, became a symbol of the untapped potential that lay within Africa. European powers began to see Malawi not just as a distant land, but as a place of opportunity and promise. Soon, British traders and missionaries established a presence. They set up trading posts and mission stations, bringing with them goods from Europe and introducing new crops and farming techniques to the local populations. The British influence grew steadily as they sought to integrate Malawi into their expanding empire. They brought with them their beliefs, their goods, and their desire for control. The British were not content with merely trading. They aimed to reshape the social and economic landscape of Malawi. Their presence was felt in every aspect of life, from the markets to the villages, as they introduced new customs and practices. In 1891, the British government declared the territory a protectorate. This move was part of a broader strategy to consolidate their control over the region and protect their interests from rival European powers. The declaration marked the beginning of a new era for Malawi, one characterized by increased foreign intervention and oversight. They named it Nyasaland, after the lake that Livingstone had made famous. The renaming of the territory was symbolic of the British desire to leave their mark on the land. It was a way of asserting their dominance and claiming ownership over the region's natural resources and people. The British sought to exploit the land and its people for profit. They introduced new economic policies aimed at maximizing the extraction of resources. The local populations were often forced to work under harsh conditions with little regard for their well-being or traditional ways of life. They introduced cash crops like tobacco and cotton. These crops were grown primarily for export, with the profits flowing back to Britain. The focus on cash crops disrupted traditional farming practices and led to food shortages, as land that had once been used to grow food for local consumption was now dedicated to commercial agriculture. They imposed taxes and forced labor. The British colonial administration implemented a system of taxation that required local populations to pay in cash, which many could only obtain by working on European-owned plantations or in mines. This system of forced labor and taxation further entrenched the economic exploitation of the region. Traditional power structures were disrupted. The British colonial authorities often undermined or co-opted local leaders, replacing them with individuals who were more amenable to their rule. This led to a breakdown of traditional governance systems and social cohesion. As communities struggled to adapt to the new colonial order, the people of Nyasaland found themselves subjects in their own land. Their autonomy was stripped away, and their lives were increasingly dictated by the demands of the colonial administration. The legacy of this period would leave deep scars on the nation, shaping its future struggles for independence and self-determination. The flame of resistance flickered in the hearts of the Malawian people. For years they had endured the heavy yoke of colonial rule, their voices stifled and their aspirations suppressed. Yet in the quiet corners of villages and the bustling streets of towns, a yearning for freedom began to grow. It was a yearning that could not be extinguished, a desire to reclaim their land and their identity. They yearned for freedom, for a chance to shape their own destiny. The people of Nyasaland, as Malawi was then known, were determined to break free from the chains of oppression. They gathered in secret meetings, whispered plans of rebellion, and dreamed of a future where they could stand tall as a free nation. Their collective spirit was a powerful force, one that would soon find its champion. Among them rose a leader who would come to embody their aspirations, Dr. Hastings Kamuzu Banda. Banda was not just a man of words, but a man of action. His vision for an independent Malawi resonated deeply with the people. He was seen as a beacon of hope, a symbol of the struggle for self-determination. His journey to leadership was marked by resilience and an unwavering commitment to his people's cause. Banda, a doctor by profession, had spent years abroad studying and advocating for his people's independence. His time overseas was not just about acquiring knowledge, but also about building alliances and garnering support for the cause of Nyasaland. He spoke at international forums, highlighting the plight of his people and calling for an end to colonial rule. His eloquence and passion won him many supporters. He returned to Nyasaland in 1958 to lead the fight against colonial rule. His arrival was a turning point in the struggle for independence. The people rallied around him, inspired by his vision and his determination. He traveled across the country, speaking to large crowds, igniting the flame of resistance in the hearts of many. His presence was a catalyst for change, a spark that set the nation on the path to freedom. His charisma and unwavering determination galvanized the nation. Under his leadership, the movement for independence gained momentum. People from all walks of life joined the cause, united by a common goal. The rallies grew larger, the voices louder, and the demand for freedom became impossible to ignore. Banda's leadership was instrumental in transforming the dream of independence into a tangible reality. The struggle for independence was hard-fought. The colonial authorities did not relinquish control easily. Protests were met with brutal force and many lives were lost in the fight for freedom. The streets of Nyasaland became battlegrounds, with clashes between protesters and authorities becoming a common sight. Yet despite the violence and the repression, the spirit of the people remained unbroken. Protests were met with violence and leaders were imprisoned. The colonial government sought to crush the movement by arresting its leaders and silencing its supporters, but each arrest only strengthened the resolve of the people. They continued to fight, knowing that their struggle was just and that their cause was righteous. The prisons were filled with freedom fighters, but the spirit of resistance could not be contained, but the spirit of the people remained unbroken. In the face of adversity, they found strength in their unity and their shared vision of a free Malawi. Community gatherings became a source of solace and solidarity, where stories of hope and resilience were shared. Cultural events celebrated their heritage and reinforced their identity, reminding them of what they were fighting for. The dream of independence was kept alive in the hearts of the people. Finally, in 1964, Nyasaland achieved its independence, becoming the Republic of Malawi. The Day of Independence was a momentous occasion marked by celebrations across the nation. The Malawian flag was raised high, symbolizing the dawn of a new era. People rejoiced in the streets, their dreams of freedom finally realized. It was a victory not just for the present generation, but for all those who had fought and sacrificed for this moment. Dr. Banda, the father of the nation, became its first president. His leadership was pivotal in the early years of Malawi's independence. He took the presidential oath with a promise to guide the nation towards prosperity and unity. As he addressed the nation, there was a sense of hope and anticipation. The journey to independence had been long and arduous, but under Banda's leadership, Malawi was ready to forge a new path, one defined by self-determination and progress. Banda's rule was a time of significant change. He prioritized development, investing in infrastructure, education, and healthcare. He sought to modernize Malawi and lift it out of poverty. His policies, however, came at a cost. Banda ruled with an iron fist. He brooked no opposition, suppressing dissent and curtailing freedoms. His regime was accused of human rights abuses and corruption. While Malawi made strides in development, it did so under an authoritarian regime that stifled political plurality. The legacy of Banda's rule remains a subject of debate. He is remembered by some as a visionary leader who laid the foundation for a modern Malawi. Others recall him as a dictator who sacrificed freedom for the sake of progress.